Hey guys, how's it going? DUJ2 here, and this is a very, very, very special video. This is a very special podcast, actually. Something that you guys are going to see first because I'm doing this off stream. And it's because of a scheduling thing too. I have with me Apo. How's it going, man?
Hey, what's up? How's it going?
Oh, it's great, man. Thank you so much for talking with me first. First of all, how do I say your name? Or how do you say your full name, your full handle?
It's Apotheos.
Okay, so I'm gonna
You can
keep
call me
saying I'm
Apo.
gonna keep calling you Apple. Yeah.
Okay.
So first of all, for those of you who don't know who Apple is, it like the title says, he is the first global player to reach tier 12 in the global game. And like I said, we're talking right now because he's really busy. He's got stuff going on tomorrow. Today we managed to sync up our schedule, so that's why this isn't happening on stream. But just to show you guys here, I'm trying to go show you in the Coliseum. And unfortunately, he can't see my screen right now, so you know, so we're gonna have to do that because usually we have it that way. But if you go into the rankings right now in global and you check the top 10, he's right there. He is first, and after he told us, well, I've been talking with him a little bit. It is amazing. I mean, it's something that no one thought we could ever do, but well, Union Cross and Tears came to do that. So, first of all, dude, just I mean, I know people are gonna. The first thing people are gonna say is how you did it. So, just take the floor. You say whatever you want to tell us.
Well, if you look at the Reddit page that they made about me, about half of them think I hacked, which I definitely did not do. Everyone keeps calling me a hacker, which I didn't do. It's mostly just knowing how the system works. Ever since they raised the buff and debuff ceiling from 3 to 7, you have much more damage potential that way. And so in my party, Keys of Destiny, we have this thing that they call Apo luck, and I'm the luckiest guy in the party. I pull crazy amounts. People ask me if I'm a whale. I would probably say like on the low end, maybe $100, $200 a paycheck, which I know for some like F2 free to play players,
Yeah.
that's insane. But if you compare that to like some of the other actual whales,
Yes.
thousands of dollars, it's nothing. But like my two main medals that are like Apo's medals are Illustrated Terra and KR3, because I've probably pulled like 15 Illustrated Terras and probably like about the same amount of KR3. So
Wow.
I got pretty good luck. So I'm where I am for the most part just because I managed to get extra attack on a lot of things. When I first guilted Sebastian, he guilted to 48%. So I just mirrored him, and then I had 4 Sebastians sitting around. So when traits came out, I just was like, okay. So I rolled one of my Sebastians, and I got extra attack right away. So that was kind of the start of it.
Did you do that when you already knew that traits were coming?
No, I had no idea. I just saved them because I was like, I might need plus, a 3-tier strength in the future. So
or different skills.
Honestly, I
on
wish
them.
I had saved yeah, exactly. So I just kept them, and when traits came out, I was like, oh well, now I can maybe have a go at it because I didn't have any extra illustrated Kyrie ones. I definitely didn't have any aerials or anything. So,
right.
And it just ended up being really lucky getting the extra attack on him. I had saved some jewels for the anniversary, so I pulled maybe 20 times. So I got 4 illustrated Kingdom Hearts or KH2 Kyries, and on the third roll, on my final roll, I got an extra attack on her, which she's kind of tantamount to getting where I did. Like, you're probably not going to make the top 10 in the Coliseum now unless you have either 1 or 2 extra attacks on Kingdom Hearts 2 Illustrated Kyrie.
Gotcha.
Call her Kyrie 2.
Yeah. So have you tried Coliseum in the past?
Yes, I have. I have always been right on the periphery of the top 100. Like, last Coliseum, I was at 116. The previous Coliseum, I was at 128. The one before that, January, I was probably around that area too. Like, always almost to 100, but never could quite cross that threshold.
Gotcha.
I'd always fall out of the top 100 in the last like 2 days.
Always a bridesmaid, never a bride.
See, the biggest problem for me back then was when the WAF medals came out, I didn't have enough money to really do a good amount of pulls. Mm-hmm. So I have no gilted WAFs. I had to figure out other ways to try to make it in the Coliseum. And I know for at least the past 3 months, or pretty much ever since the WAFs came out, they have been like the meta for getting high.
Yeah, that's impressive. It's not even the meta. It's just it's you just do it. You don't even have to think about it until you get to where it's a point where you stop, and then you can try and push with sleep at the end. Which is, I mean, that's how I think I got 55 last month. I think, and yeah, you just push with that until you can't anymore. You maybe try and put them to sleep on the last one. But at that point, like we were talking before, I mean, a level 700 will hit you. They'll hit you for 330,000.
Yeah, your sleep better go on.
There's no way you're gonna ever be able to survive that in any way, shape, or form. How strong are the ones you're fighting now?
I'm in the 1200s right now. Level 1200.
Wow.
I actually have not been keeping track of the damage except for. I just did the green, the speed mission where it was the yellow copters, the soldiers, and the 2 flower plants. And I did just happen to catch the copters, and I think they only did like 30k to me, which seems a little low, but I mean it still died because there's 3 of them.
Yeah,
so
are you sure that wasn't 300?
It might.
It might be 3 million.
So I might have taken 900.
It might be 3 million by that point, man. I don't know. It's just I have heard, just because of how much health and how strong they get, that they may not hit as hard, but they may have more defense at those levels. Just because we have up to tier 21 now.
Yeah, I don't know why. I mean,
they must expect that someone is able to do it.
Maybe at some point. I think they're just covering.
Just in case.
Sorry, covering their butts.
Thank you. Appreciate it. G-rated, yeah.
Yeah. Sorry.
No. Thank you. I appreciate it. That's awesome, man.
Difficult for me.
Thank you. I appreciate it. So yeah, I mean, I understand how they could do that, because when they came out 3 months ago, when tier 14, we were like, wow, is someone going to hit tier 14? And of course not. I mean, no one was able to do it. But seeing them do that makes me feel like they think that it's going to be possible someday, or maybe even someone can do it now.
I mean, maybe. Like I said, if I was grinding right now, I could probably make it to 200 in tier 12. Tier 13, I think it would be possible this month, depending on what they release. See, I'm going back to the rules of your Discord. Like, I know we're not supposed to talk about data mine stuff, but I'm just going to say there's probably a good chance that.
Well, go ahead, because right now, I mean, whenever I do these podcasts, it's up to you, man. It's like, you can. The people who get to come on, if you've ever watched one before, I mean, I have no. The only rule is kind of the G-rated thing, But apart from that, yeah, you just tell us whatever you think, because this is your thoughts. These are your thoughts, So yeah, you go ahead.
So, all right. So in the data mine, we saw that they had at least put Axel EX into our games. I mean, they don't have an album spot for them, I think, yet. We got 2 album spots that are still dark. They're right past Sora and Roxas. And
those 2, yeah.
Know what they are, because even Cinderella's before.
Yeah,
so
that was weird.
That was weird. Imagine when he comes out. It's 3 speed attack and minus 3 speed defense for the enemy. Imagine getting an extra attack on him that frees you up for so much more buff medals or just damage medals in general.
Oh yeah.
So that the damage starts to become pretty awesome. So like maybe when he comes out, tier 3 will be, or tier 13 I should say, will be much more possible. But we'll have to see as we keep going forward. I don't pay that much attention to the top 10s in the Coliseum, but I'm not entirely sure how many people who are currently there are like the usual suspects. Like I keep expecting like Mamanga to appear.
Yeah, I don't know. The only person that I've seen that I notice is Bulbanite. I know him. He's always way up there.
I saw him.
Yeah, he's always way up there. And then there's just other people. It depends. Some people specialize more in high score challenges, stuff like that. But I think like a lot of people, I've talked to several of them, and including myself, I'm like, I'm gonna try and be in the top 1,000, but that's it. okay, like we talked before, like a lot of people have been asking me, okay, am I making, oh, I should have said this at the beginning of the video, but a lot of people have been asking me, am I making a Coliseum guide this month? And no, I'm not. The reason why I'm not is because Coliseum to me this month is just, I know I can't get that far because I didn't roll a double cast on any of my 3 times multipliers. Illustrator Bell and Beast, Illustrator Kyrie, and Sebastian. I had those 3. I tried. I even had a Puglet. I tried. None of them. Yeah, even Puglet would have been good because he would have been 4 then. You know, it'd been a little bit more.
What about Pooh and Piglet by themselves?
I don't have any extras of them. I sold them all before. Yeah, I had a bunch of. I at one point I had like 7 piglets, and I ended up selling them all before we knew trades were coming. It hurts. Yeah, it really hurts because I needed the space, and that's something they never gave us a space for a reason. Because I would have kept everything. I would have kept everything. Anyway, so the reason why I'm not doing that because I know my limitations. I know crunching the numbers. I can maybe get to like round 500, 600, 500 probably. But there's no way that I can get high enough. And there's no way. I know that the top 100 spots are probably going to be people in tier 12 this month. Because they know you did. Yeah. Well, I mean, all they need is the key medals. You know, they need that double cast on the key buffers. And there's a lot of people out there with the World of Final Fantasy medals, you know. Look at this new King Donald and Goofy medal. That thing will rip to shreds those professors, you know.
Those things will rip to shred anything that is just one enemy.
Oh yeah.
They.
You're right. Yeah. Yeah. So and in this Coliseum
of training mode.
Oh yeah. Of Young King Mickey. Yeah. It's it's amazing. It's amazing what they've given. Oh, I don't know if they've given it, but I mean Sleeping Lion, the whole thing, you know, because they're selling it to us. But again, if you look at it from the point of view of pulling, $30, and I do need to make a correction because I did say this that we were getting $40 worth of jewels. No, we're getting 80 what? 8,400, I think. I think it's over 8,000 jewels if you buy both VIPs. For $30, you're getting over 8,000 jewels. 8,800, I think it is.
That's
right. Plus a gilded tier 5.
3 and 3 is 6. Yeah, no kidding.
And then 1.4, 1.4.
Pretty solid one too.
Yeah. So gilded tier 5, over 8,000 jewels for $30. That's a pull almost, you know.
I think that's a
for people who are spending money. It's a pretty good deal for a medal that, again, it's a single attacker, so it's not going to be like, you know, a Sephiroth, a Lily King Sephiroth, but it's an amazing medal. So I'm personally not making a guide this month because, well, I would have hoped that Apple would talk with us because he's going to give you guys a guide. Because I'm not doing it. I already know my limitations. I'm very disappointed. I did get double cast on JNS. I'm not going to lie. That makes me so happy. Nice. Yeah, and that's making things really easy for me right now. And that might be the reason that I stay in top. Yeah, that may be the reason that I can stay in, you know, in the top 1,000 Coliseum this month. But yeah. Anyway, yeah.
The month is still young too. It's only
it is. Of the way. You know what? Who knows what else we're gonna get?
Yeah. Are you planning on pulling? Can I ask that if you're planning on pulling later on?
I don't want to.
You might still get a chance.
In this one, I really don't want to that much, just because I do have something. I'm working on something right now, but I'm going to save the majority of my jewels in the hopes that we get the Samsung medals first, and second that they are as powerful as World of Final Fantasy. You know, that they're in the next version of World of Final Fantasy. Although I have a weird feeling they're going to be just weird buffers and debuffers.
But I mean, we'll have to see. Like, I know why they nerfed the WAF medals.
Oh yeah, they had to.
Out, but at this point now,
no.
I mean, remember the video of them talking at PAX. Where he was talking about trying to accelerate us to get us up to JP's strength level, and pretty much at the anniversary, that's just kind of what they started doing. I thought they were going to hold off on traits, and they dropped it right away. I thought they were going to hold off on raising the buff ceiling.
Oh yeah,
right away.
Yeah. The traits thing, like we've been talking, it's like even the fact that how were they like? I don't know. The last podcast I did with Jade Azure, Lightkeeper L, and Erroneous, the Erroneous one, we talked about, and the whole point of that podcast was going to be why we're not getting Union Cross and the trade system yet, because it was like we're not even close to the quest level. We're missing some major medals that they have. You know, it was like that, and it was like, oh, it's coming. It's like, okay. You know,
I mean, and they seem to be kind of leapfrogging us, because you saw Wisdom Form B and Axel EX, like those are two medals that we shouldn't have for another 3 months, and we might get it in 3 weeks.
Yeah. Well, and also something else that a lot of people don't know, and I mean, whenever with the data mining, a lot of something that I do like to always talk about with people is that, and I know a lot of people don't know this, but when they when they hear about it and they data mine, they think, oh, it's coming, and a lot of times, like, medals are in the game, but they don't appear yet. For example, Fantasia Mickey B was in the game since May of last year. Like, the medal was in there. They just never gave it an album slot.
I didn't know that. That makes me even more pissed off.
Yeah, since May of last year, it's been there. And also, like, the one I'm really hoping that they release eventually, soon, is the Dalmatians event. And that's been around for about 2 months. It's been in the data for about 2 months. And we all thought they were just going to come out because they had all those slots. Instead, they gave us that huge banner for High Score Challenge, you know. So, but yeah, there's a lot of stuff like that even though it's in the data and everything, it doesn't mean it's in the game yet. Until they give it an album slot, until they send out the tweet, then we can't really count it. And even then, we have to be careful because they might nerf it. You know, and which is the last thing about the last thing I want to say about this is that with Kyrie, the Kyrie we got, Illustrated Kyrie KH2, I know a lot of people thought that that I was like too harsh on thinking that they were going to nerf it, but the big thing was they don't need to nerf anything anymore. Like you were saying, even if we get 0.2 Kyrie, even if we get the EX medals, even if they release, well, unless they release the Sum medals and they are these ridiculous, like 7 times, you know, 7 up multipliers, and they're like no attribute times 2 or something, you know, unless they do something like that, there's no reason, you know, for them to nerf it.
We're pretty on track right now. I mean, they're accelerating our strength, and that's pretty good. And they're also giving us more opportunity to use that strength. You know, they're releasing harder free quests, and you know, they gave us way more Coliseum than we're ever going to need for a while.
Yeah, hopefully. Okay, so the next big question is, okay, so can you talk to us about the key medals that you think are, or the key medals that got you to where you are, and just tell us this quick strategy of what rounds you recommend people to avoid.
Yeah, of course. All right, so obviously the first.
I think I may have lost you. You still
Can
there?
You hear me?
There you are. Okay, yeah. Go. You just lost you for a second. Okay, go ahead. That would have been funny because people are going to be like, "Oh no, that was the part I want to hear."
What was it? So yeah, Kyrie too, for sure. She's kind of a must-have, and thankfully we have that 3-orbed Mercy Pool right now. So it's really easy to get her. But she is still one of the most, you know, OP medals. Even if you don't have double attack on her, I mean, oftentimes when you're in the Coliseum, one of the hardest things is trying to balance strength with gauge. But she gives the highest SP gauge return, you know, at 10 gauge back. So, like, you don't really have to worry about trying to balance gauge costs anymore. You can use Zigbar B without worrying, like, well, I still have enough gauge to take on this last enemy. So she's definitely, you know, number one. She's one you just kind of have to have, with or without extra attack. I mean, it helps. It really helps. But the second one would be.
So you mean you don't have to guilt her?
You don't have to guilt.
Good, good. That's good to know, because that's the difference between, you know, $100 to $200. You know.
Yeah, exactly. You don't have to guilt her. I think she'll help you get really far even without it. Because you know, doing double with her, or guilting her. You said guilt, right?
Yes.
Yeah, guilting her is really not that necessary because she does low amounts of damage. At all 6 orbs, all 5 orbs, when she's fully orbed but she hasn't been guilted yet, she does 8,000 damage, and then when you max guilt her at 150, she'll do about 20,000.
Yeah, I think that's what
I have her
people
at
said.
139, and she does like 19,100. So I mean, it's kind of there. It's not amazing, but you're really there for the buffs, for the SP, for the heal, for
Right.
heals in the earlier rounds. But yeah, she's okay. So she's number one.
Mm-hmm.
The next one would be, you're gonna want one or two +3s in there, and I mean, I know it's a lot easier to like a double cast on a +3 general strength, and then just go off of that like my Sebastian, like I've been doing. But you can get away with like doing an Ariel and a Sebastian, because it's still really helpful, even though it's kind of taking up some of your slots. So Ariel, Sebastian, Kingdom Hearts 2 Illustrated Kairi is your first 3 medals, and then 2 damage medals. I think that'll still get you pretty far, especially if the damage medals buff as well. Like,
right.
You know, my main attack would be Itera and KR3, because I use Divine Rose all the time. So
yeah. What's your Divine Rose at?
What's it? Oh, it's 33.
Okay. Yeah. That's important.
Yeah, Divine Rose at 30 definitely helps. But so before I rolled all my double casts, it was Illustrated Belle and Beast, Sebastian, Kairi 2, Itera, Max Gilted, obviously, but you know, not necessary. Just a really strong magic with buffer, and then KR3, also Gilted. And that got me, you know, pretty far from there. And you can get pretty far without having to get the extra cast. The extra cast just gets you that much closer to tier 12. Now here's something that I don't know how many people know. I'm sure plenty of people do, but if you do get a double cast, it's actually a little bit more beneficial to get it on something like Illustrated Kairi 1 or Sebastian than it would be on Illustrated Belle and Beast. And
because of the cost.
Kind of. It's actually so. Talking on, you know, you asked me like what enemies do I attack?
Right.
Go through. My favorite one is the watermelons, the wicked watermelon, the large watermelon, and the huge watermelon. 'Cause that one is so easy.
No defense.
Yeah, exactly. They've got -2 in PSM defense and -2 in general defense, so they're really easy to kill. When I first fought them, I couldn't do any damage to them because I was using Illustrated Belle and Beast. She removes all the buffs and debuffs, so she would remove their debuffs, and they'd actually be a lot stronger when you use Illustrated Belle and Beast on them. When I switch over to Sebastian, without her, I can still one hit the watermelons right now.
Wow.
At level 1200. They're ridiculously easy. You just need a really powerful magic, and then a couple more debuffs. You know,
yeah.
You get your +3 strength, +6 strength, and Illustrated Kairi 2, and the watermelons just kind of melt. So I know, like, some people who did save their Illustrated Belle and Beast and managed to get a double attack on it. It's going to be, you know, very helpful throughout most of the Coliseum, except for that one. You're not going to be able to use Illustrated Belle and Beast on that one, but you can use like a double cast Illustrated Kairi 1 on all of them.
Right.
The nice thing about this Coliseum is that there's a lot of rounds where the enemy groups are just one enemy, so you can go nuts on. I forgot one of the most important medals that I was going to talk about. Illustrated Ansem.
Oh, yes.
Another
I'm so sad about him. Mine has poison resist and paralysis resist.
At least the possessors won't do anything to
yeah,
you. Well,
hopefully.
Kill you, but you won't get
I won't get paralyzed.
Yeah, or poisoned. Thank God. Yeah, Illustrated Ansem, because one thing that I want to stress is that PSM defense down is not the same thing as general defense down.
Right.
They're not just equivalent, because as enemies increase in their level, their general defense increases, but I don't think that they have like a PSM defense unless it's, you know, put on them at the beginning, like gun knights or gun cannons always seem to have some PSM defense up. So in that case, yeah, they've got more, but they don't inherently have PSM defense. While they do inherently have general defense, like just built into them, because that's how, you know, the game calculates damage. So as you use Illustrated Ansem or really any form of defense, general defense down, it makes it that much easier to do real damage to them. Because I'm pretty sure the tiers of general defense down are percentage based. So like I'm using my Illustrated Ansem obviously, and he's got double cast on him. So most of the enemies have a -4 general defense. And I can do lots of damage and like regular damage. Like, you know, when you're fighting a raid boss, it's like those guys have no defense whatsoever. So when you use a metal, it's like the most damage that the metal can do.
It's a good way of measuring how strong you are. Yeah.
So with this -4 general defense on the enemies, I'm doing like damage to them like I would be doing on a raid boss because they have almost no defense. And I noticed that, I mean, well, it still kind of goes down a little bit just because it's percentage based, and that percentage of what they still have left over gets a little bit bigger, the higher level they are. I'm still doing like nearly the same amount of damage to them at level 1200 as I did at level 600.
Wow.
So that goes to show, I mean, so the biggest part is just making sure you're still doing enough damage, because at that point, all you have to worry about is how much health they have, because they go up in health every single level. So, you know, when you have that much defense down on them, I mean, that's why I am as far as I am, because of how the game actually calculates its damage in terms of general defense.
Gotcha.
Which is why Illustrated Ansem is pretty much
he's the key,
be like the top one. Yeah, he is. And I was looking at so I think it was last night when they updated the game so that all the Android players could finally see profiles again. And just crash. So I finally got a chance to see what my competition was wielding in the Coliseum. And I noticed a couple people in there, like, hey, it might have even been Jacked, number 2 right now. I think he's got double cast on both Illustrated Shion and HD Axel. So that he's getting
that 4.
That 4 as well. It takes up 2 more slots, but it also hits everybody. So it make it a little bit easier. Whereas with my Ansem, I need to hope that it just hits, or that I'm fighting just one enemy, or
I could understand how that strategy would be maybe a little better.
It would, although you have to kind of balance on damage at that point because you're taking up 2 slots instead of 1. And that's why I said with this Coliseum it's really nice, because for the most part you can just do a lot of rounds where you just have to fight one enemy at a time.
It does feel like they designed it that way, and I don't know if we talked about this yet, but that the King Donald Goofy medal, it really is coming to show us that it's designed for the professors, you know. People
were professors, and all right, so I'm gonna move on to kind of how I go along.
Go for it. Yeah.
Well, it's changed. I mean, it's always going to change as you suddenly can't beat an end or a round anymore, so you have to switch it up. But for the longest time, I was doing, I'd kill the possessors, and then I would kill the Morningstar, Gummy Hammer, and Wyvern, so number 3.
Mm-hmm.
Then I would do the Watermelon, because the Watermelon is the easiest one in my opinion. So that was 6. And then I would go on to 7.
So 1, 3, 6, 7.
0, 3, 6, 7, because 1 is that blue one.
Gotcha.
With the candy apples and the wizards and stuff. So 0, 3, 6, 7, and then 0 again, or 10. If you prefer. Because for the longest time, the PSM ones were pretty easy. 7 and 4 are the PSM ones. So I would go that over and over and over again, and that more or less got me to 950, I think. And then the PSM one started to be a little bit too difficult to do, because I was just kind of hinging it on the fact that my key R3 does so much damage, and I've got all those buffs right behind him. So I kind of abandoned that, and then I found the one that people probably most know me for, because it's the one I've been using for a while now. It was Sebastian with double cast, Kyrie 2 with double cast, Illustrated Ansem with double cast, Ursula with double cast.
Oh, wow.
And Black Coat Riku B. With Attack Boost 3.
I've been hearing people using him too.
I mean, it's kind of the same thing like you were saying with King Donald Goofy.
Mm-hmm.
Just King Donald Goofy, I think, is going to be a little bit stronger, but he's the one that we have available at the time.
Unless you got Young King
because
Mickey
I would use
or SDGB.
yeah. But I was using Moogle of Glory for that because I was doing most of my damage with my Ursula. She's I mean, HD Ursula is already
you have her
really
guilted
strong. At all those I have her guilted. She was for the most part at 140. I got her to 150 last night. And she had double cast. When I got her, she was boosted, and she's got attack boost 3 max. So
only thing you're missing is the extra 1,000.
Where I am. Yeah, exactly. I don't know what she has right now. I think it's like poison resist or something, as well as the double attack.
That's amazing.
That's
Congratulations.
kind of where I got to where I am now. Thank you. Yeah, like she was destroying like round 8, which is the air soldier, the gargoyle, the invisible, and the cannon, gun cannon, and those are all speed, and she was still just tearing them to pieces. She still tears the possessors to pieces, even though they're it's neutral damage. It's not advantage or disadvantage damage.
Yeah.
Let's try saying that 5 times fast. But yeah, so that's, I mean, I know that doesn't really help a lot of people because, I mean, basically that's just an incredibly lucky, medal. Even her at 40% with that extra attack does more than most medals do at 100%.
Yeah.
Especially on Moogle Glory. And my Moogle Glory isn't even that good. It's at like plus 28.
Wow.
So it's not even that. So if I get it to like 30, she's gonna do even more.
Yeah, it will. It will do a little. Yeah, well, 29 because that's the highest or 29.
Yeah, but I know that doesn't help a lot of people. That's just kind of showing them how I did it. But you can still, go pretty far if you have something like that. I know a fair amount of people, I think, have HD Beast guilted.
Yes.
I think that one was actually a pretty easy HSC.
That one.
As I've seen a lot of people.
Oh yeah, that was the one with the Illustrator Bell and Beast that you could kind of you could do for Illustrator Beast with a really strong metal. Yeah, that's what I did. Yeah, I mean, not everyone could do it because you still needed that one. You still needed that one really strong hitter, and you needed a guilted friend one.
Yes, you did.
Yeah, so if you had both those things, you could get it pretty easy. But yeah.
So it's not going to be the same, but you could do a similar pattern with a guilted HD Beast on Olympia. I mean, Olympia is not as strong as Moogle of Glory, but it's very similar.
Yeah,
And plus, he'll actually do advantage type over all the green enemies. Because there's not a lot of red ones. There's not a lot of magic enemies in this Coliseum.
No, it feels like they're more green and blue this time.
Yeah. But, like I said, Ursula still just tears them up like tissue paper.
And that's just because of all those general ups and downs you're taking in, right?
And all those the +6 general attack up, and that one helps, but the most important one is the -4 general defense down from Ansem, and that allows her to do so much damage. I'll be fighting the Neo Shadows. I think my Neo Shadows they've got like 50 health bars, and then on the way
and you're still one-turning them.
Oh yeah, no, they're really easy. Wow. I'm having more trouble with the Morningstar and Wyvern than I am with the Possessor.
Wow.
And the reason for that being Morningstar and Gummy Hammers have really high defense to begin with. They're just programmed to have really high defense. And since there's 2 of them, I have to use Illustrated Ansem on one and Illustrated Ansem on the other. So they've only got -2 general defense down, whereas the Possessors, I can use him on the Possessors twice. So he has the Possessors has the -4. So yeah, the Possessors, once you're able to get its health down, like anything else, its health is so low, you hit it like he's a raid boss and tear into him. So when I use Ursula on him, like, getting to Ursula, he'll go from like 50 to like 45 health bars. And then my first Ursula cast will drop him to like 9, and my second Ursula cast will drop him to like 2 or like 1 health bar, 2 health bars if it doesn't just outright kill him.
Right.
Obviously I use Nova as well because don't forget
Nova
stacks.
What's your Nova at?
Plus 857, I think.
Nice. That's awesome.
It's pretty, and then
it helps. Yeah, it does help. And with all those extra now, the debuffs and buffs, I mean, it's amazing seeing how hard Nova can hit now.
250, 300,000 damage.
I'm doing about 220 right now. It's amazing. I love it.
Yeah, it's great. I ended up having to change up my my course through them because I can't beat the Morning Stars anymore. If my Nova were a little bit higher, I probably would be able to, but I can't do it. So I went down to round 2. So it's the Black Gummy Copter and Armored Archer, the airplane, and the gun cannon.
Okay.
Yeah, the cannon gun. And I mean, that one, it's pretty easy. I just have to save my Nova for the Black Gummy Copter and the Armored Archer. But again, you know, single target high damage medals will tear them apart if you've got enough defense down stacked on them. So
Right.
like an HD Beast would tear on them pretty well, Ursula if you have it. Even if you were to put like Black Coat Riku B in your Olympia, it would probably still do a lot to them if you have enough defense down on them.
Right,
So
right.
a lot of it is really just that defense down, you know.
But to
double
pull that
cast
off,
and
you really
cancel.
do need those double cast on the.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, you know, like I can give people advice on how to get further in the Coliseum. Honestly, the only advice I can give them to get to the top 10 or to, you know, where I'm at is have a lot of money or have a lot of luck.
Yeah. Yeah.
in
That's
game,
where it gets to again.
yeah.
And like
In this
that's what
game,
we
those
talked
two
about
have-
too before. Now it's RNG on top of RNG on top of RNG. Not only
Yeah.
do you need the RNG when you do pulls, but you need the RNG when you do traits.
For traits.
Yeah.
Yeah. And thankfully, you know, like I got that Apple look, so I don't have to worry about it too much. I noticed in this game, obviously, well, with a lot of games, like gacha games like this, luck and money kind of have an inverse relationship
Yeah.
with one another. Like you can get pretty far if you're just insanely lucky, or you can get pretty far if you are insanely rich.
Yeah.
If you don't have either of those two, it's going to be a lot more difficult for you. And that's like, I'm sorry to say, like, you know, I know a lot of people don't have the funds to really get by it, but for free to play people, as much advice as I can dispense, I don't know if my advice is going to be enough to get them to like the top 100 or the top 10. For that, unfortunately, you are going to have to spend money in this.
Well,
game.
I would hope if you're a free to play player, you're going for the top 1,000 or 10,000.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
And that's another thing, like you just said right now. I mean, yeah, especially being a free to play player, it's something that you need to, or someone who's not willing to spend a lot of money or can't. Like Coliseum is for those people. You know, Coliseum is definitely for people who are going to be spending, you know, a lot of money or have incredible luck. Because if you don't put that into it, you're not going to be able to get in the top ranks. You know, it's just not.
Yeah.
That's not how the mechanics of the game work.
Yeah, I mean, this is still a game that's designed to make money. I think they're doing a lot better than they were, well, you know, 10 months ago,
Yeah.
and how much money they were taking from us in return for what we were getting. But yeah, it's still designed so that, you know, we pay the money. And that's just, you know, kind of the nature of the beast.
Right.
But I hope that, you know, with some of the free-to-play players who happen to, you know, be lucky enough that when they do, you know, make a pool, you know, be it albeit once in a while, that maybe they're able to get an illustrated Ansem,
Right.
or maybe they're able to get 2 illustrated Ansem at one point, and then be lucky enough to get double cast. But
Is your illustrated Ansem gilted?
No, he's not. He's at 4 orbs. He's not even gilted.
Gotcha. See, and that's something else I want to bring, because I do want to start wrapping it up. It's been 40 minutes now.
Oh,
I know
wow.
people's attention spans kind of go at this point, but I do really want to say I'm really happy that, you know, you've been able to accomplish this. Like with what you just said, your illustrated Ansem is not gilted. You know, you don't have the World of Final Fantasy medals, which. And this is something that I know is going to sound a little weird, but to someone like me, and I depend too much on them. Like right now, as we're talking,
that's one thing I noticed.
I've gone back to
Not
my
you in
setup.
general,
No, well, but definitely for me. I mean, I've gone back to my setup right now. As we've been talking, I've been doing Coliseum. Actually, it's funny, but I've been going through and doing several different, you know, setups. And right now, I'm back again with my original setup. I have my Tama and my Sephiroth. Those are the 2 cleaner ups at the end. And yeah, right now Tama's hitting 150,000 per hit, so she's doing 450,000 damage total, and Sephiroth's doing 180 to 200. So he's doing 200,000 damage, you know, and he's gonna keep doing that for a long time for me. And to
How
me,
far are you?
I'm not even in round 100 yet. I've been completely ignoring it. Yeah, I've been totally ignoring it. I think I'm up against 212. I'm at round 92 right now. But yeah, I'm sure. I mean, but in round. I mean, against the level 212, I'm taking 600,000 damage, which is pretty nice, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's the thing with the world of Final Fantasy medals that have come to. They came to create this gigantic power gap, which now still exists, but the power gap is so different now. Yeah, like someone like you is going to be able to do things I can't even dream of because I can't boost up my World of Final Fantasy medals to that point. Now, I wish I could, because that would be really fun to see. It'd be fun to see what I could do going in, like what you're doing. You're going in with 6 general up, 4 generals down. Do you have double cast on Kyrie?
Yes, I do.
Yeah. So 2 attribute up PSM. For you. Yeah. 2 P2 and 2 G PSM down for the enemy.
PSM down for the enemy.
Right.
Yeah. And then the medals that I
right.
Do
and if you're doing Ursula, you got another 6. So you're going 7 for that.
Yeah. Next up to 7.
Yeah, so I mean, if you look at that, I mean, or just the first 3 we talked about. If I could go in with those 3 boosts, and then follow up with my Tama and Sephiroth, I would love to see what that could do.
Yeah, it'd be great. That's one last thing I want to touch on would be the WAFs, because I was talking with some people and they asked me if Coliseum is dead now, and I said no. I think that the WAFs are dead now. And upon reflection, I don't think they're dead. It's just they are not the end-all be-all when it comes to ranking high in the Coliseum anymore.
They're still going to be awesome.
The power disparate has shifted. Oh yeah, they are. Although I know a lot of people, they would run like a really high-level Starlight, and then they would just stack up all the WAFs on it. Have a +3 and then stack all those. For those people, they suddenly became a lot weaker because. We can't use Fantasia Mickey B for traits, and as far as I know, we're not going to get WAFs ever again. So unless you happen to be lucky enough to have saved some WAFs, your WAF is most likely not going to have traits on it. You're not going to get a double cast.
That doesn't help. I saved some, and my traits were horrible.
Oh.
You have to have the RNG too. You have to have the RNG too.
I did see someone in the top 10 who had double cast on a fully gilted lightning WAF. So that's got to be pretty nice. But the WAFs are not ultimately dependable. Like still with yours, you were lucky enough to gilt a Sephiroth WAF.
Yeah,
and he's
he's amazing.
I always say he's more powerful than
my Tama
than Sora,
is my Tama is well. I don't know. Have you seen a Sora in action?
I have used a friend one.
You have to go and check out Monster D-Face when he streams. He streams on Twitch. Go check him out and ask him to show you. You are going to you're going to see what that medal can do, and it's like combining.
So you think it's better?
It's kind of like combining Tama and Sephiroth into one. It's ridiculous. It's that medal is, if you properly stack it now, that medal is still one of the most destructive medals the game. But how many people have it? A handful of people have it.
Well, yeah, and how many people have it gilted?
Yeah, no, exactly. That's what I'm saying. A handful of people. Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, how many people? And I mean, the few people out there who also have a boosted gilted one. It's just
no kidding.
Or the people who just were able to get one, and hopefully now they can gilt it soon. With Mickey's.
Yeah, the best thing they could put it on would be Sleeping Lion. I think that only goes up to 2.7. Well, DR is still 0.3 stronger. I mean, I do know that Sora's got that extra buff, I think, over Sephiroth. So
yeah, tiny little bit,
It'd be up in the air. It'd be easier for people because more people have Sephiroth than they do Sora. But yeah, so if you're able to stack all those buffs behind your Sephiroth, I think you'll be fine. I don't know if that'll be this Coliseum or next Coliseum. Yeah.
Well, I mean, like I said, right now, I think I'm shooting for top 1,000. If I can make it top 10,000, I really do want that AB3 plus Max plus SP2. Because that would be amazing. But then again, if you have a double cast Kyrie 2, you don't need that.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter.
It doesn't matter.
Like I'm getting back 20 SP.
Yeah.
Every time. So if I use my BC Riku because he has 2 gauge or +2 SP gauge.
Wow, yeah.
21. But yeah, I never run out of gauge anymore. So it's funny how that's not as important anymore. If you have a Kyrie, that is, which I think a lot of people are gonna have pulled for her.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are
and gotten her. So yeah, gauge costs are not as important as they were 2 weeks ago.
I do think
It's
though
hard to imagine
that, yeah, but I do think actually though that it's important to also say that you don't want to get rid of your World of Final Fantasy medals, you know,
Oh no, I
because
don't sell them or anything.
if for some day we get, because someone was actually talking about, I don't know if it exists in JP or not, or they're planning for it, but if we ever do get something like a Fantasia Mickey C or something that will enable you to reroll traits,
That'd be cool. I was thinking
then
about that
certain
too,
medal,
like if they had a magic mirror or something for
yeah,
traits.
yeah, something like that. And of course, they're gonna hide it behind a huge paywall or something like
Or
that.
just
Because I mean,
give
come
it to
on,
us like
yeah,
they should be.
yeah, exactly. Or they're gonna give us one, and then another one a month later, and then 3 months later.
Yeah.
I don't know. But if they ever do release something,
we said we'd give it to you. We gave it to you. There you go.
there you go. That's it.
Yep.
One a year. Be grateful. Happy birthday. But if they do ever do something like that, for me personally, I'm looking at hopefully they getting the extra 1,000 on my Tama or the double cast on them, because by then I'm hoping to have the gauges, the gauges from Kyrie, and maybe get a double cast from her some days, or something like that. So there's a lot of future possibilities, but at the same time, and I mean, I know we're just talking about Coliseum right now, but there's so much other medals we have now with the trait system that can be relevant again,
Oh yeah, it's revitalizing a lot.
Yeah, but it is sad that they didn't tell us about this before. That
of course they didn't.
We got
they're them.
we got both the what's it called? We never got the full storage, so we weren't able to save everything. That makes sense now why they did that. We got that boosted Guilted campaign right before they told us about right before they told us, so we used everything up. Yeah, so I mean it's there's a lot of salt in that sense, but that's more from people who have been pulling a lot and saving a lot,
Yeah, I know everyone in my party is upset because we did a little thing where we all guilted our HD beasts to see what we got, and we all did terrible on him because it was after the guilting campaign.
Right.
But now we're all like, why didn't we save him? I mean, but you wouldn't have even thought to save him.
No, we had no clue.
Even announced traits for
it
Japan
didn't exist.
Point,
yeah.
Much less us. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's just stuff right at the edge where you're just like, dang it.
Yeah, it didn't exist. And then when you look at it from the point of view of, okay, even if you had saved, like me, I saved one. I didn't guilt it yet. I have one saved, but I'm like, I'm not going to get anything good on him.
I mean,
with my luck,
at some point.
Yeah, but now,
medal.
Right? But now I'm also looking at the point of, well, I should probably wait for a boosted guilty campaign because I know my guild is going to be bad. So yeah, there's all these extra factors that you have to consider now with a medal, on top of the fear of traits, because that's kind of how I feel about it. I'm afraid of traits, or the bad traits. But anyway, thank you, dude. I'm sorry I took almost an hour of time. Anything else you want to tell us? Anything else you want to say about anything? Actually, go for it, man.
I mean, not much else really to say. I put out all the advice that I was hoping to put out, and hopefully it helps a good number of people. And I don't know. I'll see you all in tier 12.
Yeah, I'm sure a lot of people are going to join you. All right, man. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you, man. Really appreciate it. Thanks a lot.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
All right, guys. So that is Apo. Thank you very much to him for joining us. Like I said, this video will be out Tuesday, I think, Tuesday morning sometime. If you guys have any questions, I guess leave them down in comments. I'll hope that he can check it out. And also, I really would like to talk to Apo again, and maybe some other people who are going to be in, people who have passed into tier 12 and how they feel progressing into the game, especially because, like what he just said, he's able now to look at what people around him have, and it sounds like everything is so dependent now on something else. Before, like when I got last month, it was all about the World of Final Fantasy medals. That's what we had those medals up there, and everyone around me had that, and certain guilted debuffers and buffers and stuff like that. But now all bets are off, guys. And if Apple was able to do that, and if you out there have, like what he said, those double casts on those particular buffers and debuffers, you're going to be able to get much farther than me. So It's a very exciting time for especially people who have said over and over and over, I wish I would have pulled for the World Final Fantasy medals, or I wish I would have been around for them. That's not the case anymore. You are able to do so much more in this game now. That is exciting. Traits are not exciting. I'm scared of them, like I told you guys, but it's a very exciting time. So huge thanks to Apple for joining me. I hope you guys enjoy this video, and thank you very much for watching. I'll see you guys next time. See ya.